Yeah, hi. So in the previous session, we discussed about, right, like we have discussed about types of debuggers and go-to statements and how to set the breakpoint at a message or at a subroutine or a function module or a method, right? So now for today, let us try to focus on, you know, update debugger and how exactly it triggers and system debugger. And if time permits, we'll try to focus on this either or this. Right? So let's try to focus on update debugger. So what exactly update debugger is for, right? So the name itself is saying, if at all you are trying to update the database, so database updation is nothing but updating the tables. So let me open the standard transaction code VA02 where I can change the sales order and I can update the database. See now for this particular item, it was 2 earlier. Now I'm just trying to make it as 1. So I just wanted to show this to you even in the table as well. So I think it's 4970. That's it. User parameters, LV grid display, so that the display will be user friendly. 9. So let me drag it to the right side. So now see 454412. 454412. But now I have changed it to 1 and I'm just trying to save it. So the moment when you see this particular screen, like meaning like VA02 initial screen, what you think is like, yes, the database is updated. Yes, you just come here and just focus on this particular value. Just let me refresh it. And now it got changed to 1. So this is what updation. But frankly speaking, the moment when you see the screen, it is not like the database is updated. There is something happening in the backend. Oh, is it? Yeah. Then how to see it? So how exactly we can, go and check it out, right? So let me go inside of it again. So now, guys, please remember that we have 1 here, right? I'm just trying to change it as 2. I really don't know where to start my breakpoint or where to keep my breakpoint and where to start my debugging, right? So in that case, we have an option called, we know it, right? /h. Say enter. Type /h and click on enter. Now your debugger is switched on. Now I'm just trying to save it. At least I should get into the debugging. That's it. Later I'll do whatever the things which are needed now. So now the moment when I click on save, this piece of logic has been triggered now. Now what exactly I have to do is, so here in the settings, so now my point is I just want to do update debugging. I just want to focus on update debugger. So if at all you want to debug the updating things like update function modules or something, so definitely in the settings, so you have to change the debugger settings and just go here. So you have to click on this. So I have already done this. So it has been already set. So you have to set this. OK, and then save it. Now it is saved. See, I just have started my debugging just by clicking on, just by typing /h and save button. So my debugger is started. Now I just want to do update debugging. So just let me save it. Yes, it is set. Now directly just go for F8. Since I have not kept any breakpoint, it will directly, the updation will be completed. Just assume that case. Now let me click on F8. See, but frankly speaking, if you have really observed it, see, update debugging has been triggered, but earlier case was different. The moment when you change the quantity and then you click on save button, so we got the screen. That situation was different. What we were thinking is the moment when I see the screen, once I save it, meaning you are thinking that the database is updated, but frankly it is not updated yet. Now since we have activated the update debugger, now see this update debugger has been triggered. Now the control is here. This is what the update debugger. So I'll just tell you, but before that, just let me go back here and let me refresh it. No, the value is not changed yet. I just have kept 2, right? It is not changed yet. Just focus because the control is still in the debugging. Now this we call it as update debugger. So how can we start the update debugger? By activating the update debugger in the settings. Here, this is what I'm trying to say. In the settings, we have this update debugger set. Now this is the update debugger. Now, sir, we are not so sure like what exactly this method and what exactly this class is not. So these are like very generic things which will get triggered the moment the session is being controlled. Session as a like one transaction is being controlled. So these type of messages and these type of classes will come for sure. So no need to worry. Just click on F7. I just want to go out of it. I just want to go out of this method. Just click on F7. Now see, just let me click on, right? Now it has been changed. Now let me do this again so that go here. Now it is 2. I'm just trying to change it as 3. Again, I just want to debug it. If I click on save, I don't know whether the debugger will be started or not. Let me click on /h. /h as in like the moment you click on /h, dynamic debugging as and when you really need it, right? I just have switched on the debugger. Just click on save. Now again, this has been triggered and I just want to make sure my update debugger is on. Yes, it is on now. So let me say execute. Of course, we will get the first screen, but apparently the thing is, yes, we got the update debugger on. So we have got this update debugger has been triggered and we got this now. So sometimes what's happening is like, see, F6, 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 F6. So in methods, no, we can't do anything. So that is the reason I'm just trying to, yeah. Now see, this particular function model has been triggered and I just want to show you what exactly this particular function model is in SC37. SC37, let me open this. See, if you go here, what is this function module? Update function module. See, the point which I'm trying to convey you is the moment when you activate the update debugging. So in the back end, of course, when you are trying to save some data to the database, updation process will trigger updation process. But if at all you really want to see that thing, you have to activate your update debugger. This is point number 1. And of course, the moment when I click on F6, 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 finally it just came to this lane. So this is totally an update function module. Now this particular function module will be triggered. Now let me go back to the table once. So now it is 2. I think I just have changed it to 3. Still, it is not updated. Reason being, I am still in the debugger. If I say continue and OK, so now sometimes what happens is, so you just need to debug even this particular function module, which is an update function module. So update function modules, you cannot debug them directly unless you activate the update debugger. Now I am the function module, update function module. Now I can go and happily debug my particular function module. I can just go F5 and I can check what exactly is happening here and all these things. Right. So now let me say F8 again. I just want to show this many times so that you will get this. Now I think the moment where see now it is done, it is completed. Now if I click on refresh, it should be 3. Right. See. So it is not like okay, always the moment when this is triggered. So don't think like okay, the data is committed to the database. No. Now maybe the last time for you to explain it in detail. So let me click on 4. Sometimes you might get a situation that some updation terminations. Updation termination. So what exactly you mean to say? Sir? Again, /h, enter, and then click on save. Now F7. Let me click on F8. So now update debugger has been triggered. Yes, it has been triggered. Now let me click on desktop 3. Now this is the update debugger. So these are just basic sessions like F6, 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 F6. Now I think I'm at the same place. Now, wantedly what I'm trying to do is I don't want this to be executed. So if I click on F8, of course, this particular entire function module will be executed. And even here also you can find the value updated as 4. Wantedly now I am not interested to do that. I don't want to do that. So I just want to stop the entire process of this update debugger. I just want to stop this update debugger. So I mean, I just want to stop the process here. So what I'll do, So see here, exit the applications in the menu, debugger, exit the application, close the application, meaning now I'm not allowing this particular function model to be executed. So I'm just stopping the process. So let me click on this. So do you really want to exit the application? Yes, please. Now, where is my transaction code? Here it is, my transaction code. If we go back here, so sometimes you will be, you will be asked to debug this kind of issues. So what has happened? Yeah, there is some the update was terminated. Can you please check it out? So they'll come back to you, like the analyst people, they'll come back to you saying like, hey, the updation has been terminated. Can you please check it out? So now we got this pop-up reason. OK, now even let me show this. So since we have stopped the execution, update function mode execution, now this remains 3 only. We won't get 4. Even if you open the sales order as well, you will be having 3 only there. Right. So when exactly we have to start the update debugger as well, sometimes you may be asked to debug those kind of updation termination issues and all, right? So at times, so you start your debugging, so you just change it. So they'll tell you, the analyst people will tell you like when exactly they are getting the issue. So if they say like, OK, while updating the PO number, and the moment we updated the PO number and if we try to save it, we are getting some updation termination error. So in that case, what exactly you have to do is just you also do the same thing. But since you are the developer, so you have to debug it. So /h, click on enter, and then let me click on save. So their point is like if they change the PO number and they save it, they are getting the updation termination error. So since we are the developers, I think my that setting is already set. Now I am in the same situation as an I'm now ready to debug the code. So I'm just came back. See, my update function model has been triggered. Not only this particular function model. Sometimes, so you have to go like down the line. Like sometimes you may be getting 3 or 4 function models in the stack or in the flow. So not only I'm not telling you that OK, only this particular function model is responsible for all the updation termination errors. No, maybe you may face. I mean, you may come across like 3 to 4 functional models as well. So you have to sit for some time and then you have to find out the cause. Right. So this is what the update function model is. So yeah, this is what I'm trying to convey you. I think we are clear on the update function models. I hope this is so clear to you. So of course we have to spend our time and then we have to finally figure it out. That's it. Let me click on F8. So the moment this is closed, yes. Now if you go back also, you don't get that message because we have not stopped it. I wantedly stop the process just to show you the issue, like how exactly the analyst people will come to you to ask the help. So now if you click on refresh, it will be 4. Oh, sorry. I think we have changed the PO number, right? So not the quantity. I think we have changed the PO number. So in a simple note, if someone comes to you there and they mention that, OK, they are getting some updation termination errors. So definitely the debugger, what you have to do is update debugger. So that also you don't need to keep the breakpoint at any place blindly. Click on, type /h before they commit the database, right? I mean, before they commit the data to the database, right? So /h and click on save button. So your debugger will be started. And of course, once the save is done, so your update debugger will be started and you have to like show your patience and then you have to go line by line. With your experience, of course, you can skip the executions also. But yeah, this is what you have to do. Next. OK, now even let me talk on this commit work as well. So sir, like, is this now? Let me show you the other way. So let me even open this VA02 transaction code. Let me click on this and then let me click on this. Now let me give this 4. So when exactly the update function models will be triggered, sir? Of course, we got to know that, OK, before we commit the data to the database, meaning like if you click on save button, the data will be committed to the database. That is what you mean to say. But frankly speaking, the update function modules, let's say I have 100 lines of code. The moment when I click on save button, OK, the moment when I click on save button, 100 lines of code is there. Let's say your update function module is there at line number 50. So the moment my cursor comes to line number 50, that particular update function module will not be executed and they will be stored in a stack. They'll be arranged in a queue. So the update function module will not be executed the moment when the cursor hits update function module. No. My point is, the moment when I click on save button, this is my code 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. Here I have my update function module. Update. Here I have my update function module. See, this is what my update function module. So my cursor comes to this line, this line, this line, this line. Finally, my cursor comes to this. No, this update function module will not be executed. Rather, it will be stored in a stack. We call them as queue. Let's say FM, update FM. Next, immediately my cursor goes down here, down here, down here. The moment when my control comes to this particular statement commit work, then immediately my cursor will not go to the next line. It will directly go back to the queue where all my update function modules are arranged. So now the moment when the commit work triggers, this update function modules will be executed. Let's say here I have 4 update function modules. All of those 4 update function modules will be triggered. And then it comes to the next line of this commit work. So this is how it works. So on a typical and a high note, but indirectly there is something which is happening in the backend, but at least for our experience, just think like that. Now my point is, so I just want to show that to you as well. No, some time back I have opened the function module also. Wantedly what I'm trying to do is, so let me click on this particular function module, and this is the function module which is triggered, at least one of the function modules which is triggered. Let me keep my breakpoint here. Or if at all you are interested, let me keep external breakpoint also. Anything is fine. Now, so now I just want to change. I just change it to 4. I think what is the value which is there in the, yeah. I'm just trying to change it to 4. I just want to save it, but before that I just want to go for /h. Debugger is switch on. Okay, now let me save it. Let me cross verify whether my update debugger is on or not. Yes, it is on. Now let me click on F8. If I click on F8, yes, I'll get a message saying like update debugger has been triggered. Yes, this is my update debugger which is triggered now. Oh, this is not no, this is not the one which I'm trying to show you. Wait. Sorry, it's my bad. So A02 /h subsequent messages. Now let me click on, let me say it as 5 /h. Save it. My debugger is started, and I just make sure that even my update debugger is also on. Now let me keep my cursor on a statement. What is the statement? Commit. Yes, I have even set my breakpoint. We know it, right? Like where exactly, if at all you want to keep the breakpoint at a message, that function module, or a statement, we can happily go and do that. So I just have kept my breakpoint at commit work. Now let me click on F8 this time. See what happened now. You see the moment when I click on F8, my update debugger is not started yet. Now I just encountered this particular line. This is what I'm trying to tell you here. Update debugger is. Now if I click on F6, see the moment when I clicked on F5 from the commit work, then my update function module started triggering. This is what I'm trying to convey here. I just clicked F6 when I was at commit work. Immediately I got this message. And now of course this particular function module is triggered since I have already kept my breakpoint. I hope it is so clear to you guys. So don't think like, okay, this is line number 1. The moment when I click on save, so I have 100 lines of code which is to be executed. Now at line number 50, I have update function module. Then don't think that this particular update function module will be triggered. So the cursor will come here and immediately it won't go inside of this particular function module. It just comes to the next line. When exactly the update function module will be triggered? The moment when your cursor comes to this particular commit work statement. The moment when I get this commit work statement, immediately the cursor or the control or the execution, directly it will go back to the queue. This we call it as update queue. In update queue, we will be having the update function models. Then all the update function models which are there, which are waiting in the queue, will be executed, and then our cursor or the control will come back to the commit work again, and then the next process goes on. This is what I have showed you now, right? So I think this is clear. Now the next point that I'm trying to say is system debug. This is very rare scenario, but still let me. I think it should be having 5 here. Yeah, see, it is also clear now. So the next scenario that I'm trying to convey you is system debugger. Okay, now let me close this out and then let me go back here /NSA38. So let me create 2 programs for you. So G test underscore system program 1. So let me create a program to demonstrate debugging, whatever. Okay, this is a normal executable program and this is a customer production program. So like I just want to make sure this is a custom production program. So let me click on save and let me click on local object. I don't want to write a huge logic here. Very simple logic, right? Program 1, that's it, nothing else. But before I display this, submit. So it has to unwritten. A small example. So now let me try to activate the program. So it got activated, but apparently this particular program is not available in the system. So this is my main program. And here in this particular program, I'm just trying to call another program. This one, execute it and return. And then here in the same program, you just mention it. Now let me double click on this program. What it is saying, program gtest underscore sp2 does not exist in the system. So you want to create, yes, please create it. So now you want to create this particular program with a top include. No, I don't want to create any top includes. Now the point which I'm trying to say here is, let me make it as system program. Let me make it as system program. Let me click on save, then local object, everything is done. Now this is also a normal program. Now write program 2. Let me activate it. That's it. This is program 2 and this is program 1. That's it, nothing else. So what I have done was, so I have created 2 programs and the second program I have called it in the first program by using this syntax. The output of the first program is program 1 and the output of the second program is program 2. That's it, straightforward. Now let me keep my breakpoint here. Either if at all you want to go with session breakpoint or external breakpoint, it's totally your choice. Now let me click on it. I have set the external breakpoint, at least for you to understand it very easily. So now I just go back. So let me click on normal breakpoint here. So now I'm just trying to execute the first program. So let me execute the first program. Let's see how it says. So see, I am in the first program. So ideally what should happen is, if I click on F5, it should go inside. I am interested to debug even this program also. Assume here in this particular program, I have 1000 lines of code. I just want to debug it, how exactly the flow is going or what exactly is happening in that particular program. I just want to debug it. So since I have already kept the breakpoint there in this particular program, and now I am just clicking on F5. It is something else. It is not going there. OK, now let me click on it. F6, 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 F7, F7, F7. See, I am getting the output of it. Go back. F7. And I'm getting the output of it. See, the point is, I am getting the output of this particular program, but I'm unable to debug this particular program. That is a problem. I am unable to debug this particular program. See, program 2. I just want to see this particular program in the debugging. Right. So even if you try with, of course, ideally we should not go with this. So even let me try with this also. Static breakpoint also. Global level static breakpoint. OK. So again, let me go back here and then let me execute the first program. Same thing, F6. So I'm just getting the output directly. See, again, I'm in the first program. I'm unable to debug the first program. So then how to debug the system program, sir? How to debug the system program? So how can you say this is system program? Go to attributes. Here you can find the system program, right? So now let me execute the first program. The moment when my debugger is started, again the same context like settings, change debugger settings, system debugging. So if at all you want to debug the system level applications, either it could be a program, it could be a function module, or it could be class also. So if at all you want to do that, so you have to activate the system debugger and save it. Now give it a try. Now this time give it a try. Now we are in the first program. Now I just want to debug this particular program. I don't want to see the output directly. I just want to debug it. So let me click on F6. So now I am in the second program. The reason being I have activated the system debugging. So now, of course, assume the case. Now here we wrote very less coding. Assume the case like here we have 1000 lines of code, and I just want and you just want to debug it. So now, yes, your cursor is here, and happily you can debug the code. So this is the other part, system debugger. So we are done with update debugger, and we are done with this one. So pop-up debugger, I'll just try to take an example tomorrow. And now how to edit entries of a standard table. So basically, so sometimes what happens is, so if someone asks you, so maybe the analyst team or the test team, if they come to you and if they ask to change the entries or edit the entries or delete the entries, whatever, of a standard table, you just straightforward tell them that, okay, standard tables should be updated by standard T codes. So straightforward formula. So always standard tables should be updated by standard T codes. So we should not go and write the logic, or we should not directly change them. But in some case, what happens is in your project, assume they have created a G table. Assume the case they have created a G table, and due to some, to test a proper scenario, to test a business case, to check a business case, they're expecting some other value in the table, custom table. Let's say G table. Okay, they're expecting you to, at least they're expecting some other values in the table. Okay, so they, ideally they don't know how to change the values of the table. But if the values are really changed, it will be very much helpful for them to run the business case, run the test case. And of course, since they are not the developers, they don't know like how to change the values in the table level. So now, at least here, I'll directly show you how to change the entries of the table by using debugging. This is very much helpful to the analyst team and all. But I don't have any custom table here. I'll directly try to show you the standard table itself. The standard table itself, right? So let me open one of the standard tables called Mara. But ideally, if someone asks you in the company, in the organization that, hey, can you please change the values of Mara table for me? I just want to run a scenario. Directly mention them. No, please. No. Changing the values of a standard table, it's almost a crime. So definitely your name will be tracked there. So like, you will have to face the consequences, right? Just mention them. Always standard table should be updated by standard T codes, and they should know the process of changing it, right? But if it is a custom table, you can think on it. And of course, even if it is a custom table, you cannot change it directly in the production system. Only if it is development or in the hard cases, like sometimes you will be asked to change the values in the quality test systems, right? Since I don't have any G table and all to change the values, I'm directly going to standard table only. But I hope you got the context. You don't ever try to change the values of the standard table. So now let me go effect. So they'll mention that. So I just want to change the values of one of the materials M-01. Assume this particular material is there in this particular table, and I just want to change the values of this particular table. Okay. They're expecting you to change some values like this one or this one or this one, some date or whatever. They're expecting you to change some value. Okay, fine, great. So if at all you want to do that, so make sure you now you are in ALV grid display, ALV mode. So where you can drag and drop the fields from one place to other place, or from this place to this place, you can drag and drop the field, something like this. No, so your debugger will not work properly if you are in the ALV mode. So go to settings, user parameters, go for ALV list, not grid, ALV list. Say OK. Again, just give the value and then say OK. Now this is how you will see the output of the table. Right? Now let me double click on this particular record. So you have to come to this vertical display. Right now, again, I really don't know where to start the debugging and all. So now just let me enter /h, enter. Now my debugger is started. Debugger is started. Now let me click on enter again. Enter again. So again, see, if you have really observed, this particular screen is coming for every way. I mean, for every action that we do on the system for the /h. Now again, click on F7, 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 F7. Why it is coming like this? Hey, why this colori? /h, enter, F8. Let me go back. Let me go back. Execute it. Double click on it. /h, enter, enter, F7. Thing is not really working fine. So what is the user parameter? Channel list. So let me click on /h, enter. We should get the code actually. So it's F7, F7, F8. Oh, so Mara. So let me execute this table. So let me give one specific material. Okay, let me double click on this. Let me click on /h. Debugger is on. Let me click on enter. F7. 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 No, something which is not working really. Watch point on code. It does not exist here. Let me. It should not be the case. It should not be the case. Just give a minute. Or whatever the table. In a table is fine. User parameters and the user parameters LV list only is fine. Now let me double click on it. /h, enter, F7. Again, it is coming to the same thing. Huh? I don't want to waste your time. Okay, fine. I'll take this topic tomorrow. And thank you so much for your time. Have a nice day. Bye.